All right, we bring in our friend Richard Davenport, Whole Hog Sports, Arkansas Democrat-Gazette. Sometimes it's tough to follow an act, but in this case, I think Richard could talk about peas the next 10 minutes, and it would be more enjoyable. RD, Razorbacks got a couple of commits this week. Blair Irvin, Benville wide receiver, and Dalen Green out of Florida. What did Arkansas get in a wide receiver and safety here these last few days?
Yeah, Blair Irvin, the guy, obviously people know about C.J. Brown, who was a freshman last year for Arkansas, receiver out of Bentonville, too. And he's a faster version of C.J. Maybe not the size of C.J., but he is the faster version. So I think he's a guy that I think people are going to be pleasantly surprised with. Good size, not great size, but about 6 foot, maybe 6'1" max. About 175. Obviously, will continue to grow into college. And then Dalen Green, hard-hitting guy. That's the first thing that I noticed looking at his film probably a couple months ago when he got offered. He played a lot of safety in high school. Will play linebacker for Arkansas. 6'2", about 210. Will light you up, and just a guy that embraces physicality, and that's obviously what you need on the defensive side of the ball.
RD, when the settlement starts officially July 1st, I've seen some things that apparently written within the rules that it's supposed to start now. There's some elements that I'm still trying to figure out, but just from a broad standpoint, how do you think recruiting changes come this July and beyond for Arkansas football?
Well, I think it gives them a more of an even playing field. If it gets a little loud, I'm at 7-on-7 at Arkansas, along with Arkansas D-line, O-line camp.
Okay.
But it definitely will even things out a little bit more. Now, here's the deal: the money's been on the table because there hasn't been any kind of restrictions or anything. But now with some restrictions as far as about the amount of money that you have in your pool. I do suspect that there's going to be some under the table stuff. Now, does the NCAA do anything about it? The NCAA hasn't had a good track record historically about penalizing wrongdoers, but I think still, for the most part, you're not going to see under the table money unless it's maybe like the top. Not top 50 guys or something like that, top 40. So the rest of the guys you'll probably be able to compete as far as market value for each position. And I think that's going to be a huge deal for Arkansas because they've been behind the 8 ball since all this NIL stuff started. They've been lower third of the SEC, and I think you see that. Especially just recently with the transfer portal. I think they've done well in the transfer portal, but you look at some of the schools that had NIL money, a lot more NIL money, like Texas Tech. When did Texas Tech ever just kill it in recruiting? But they did it in the transfer portal because they had a huge backer funneling money. So that's all going to even things out for the most part, but there'll still be some under-the-table stuff here, here or there.
Should conferences have a standard or a guideline or hey, we all agree as SEC members how we're going to break up the $25 million? I know there was some conversation in Destin about that, about percentages for football, men's basketball, and maybe some leeway with the other sports. Do you think that gets traction? Or I know Kentucky would not be in favor of that because they don't want to put their money into football. But if you're really going to levelize the playing field, at least within the SEC, you need to all be spending about the same amount of money on said rosters, whether it's basketball, football, baseball, and beyond.
Yeah, just like the other professional sports salary caps. Mm-hmm. I get what you're saying. That's a good question, Tommy. I really don't know. I think that obviously it's something that should be considered pretty heavily. But I'm sure some schools will fight it and say, hey, we have this certain amount of pool. Let's let each school make the decision how they want to split it up. But I know what you're saying, and that would work better for Arkansas if everybody had the same amount of money.
So how interested are really the teams at the top? How interested really is the SEC in a true levelized playing field?
That's another good question. Probably some of the schools. I don't know what the breakdown would be as far as number of schools that would be in favor of not having a cap. But I would tend to think that you would probably have. I'm just guessing 6 to 7 that would be against it, and the others would probably, won't some kind of cap. But that's going to be interesting to see how it plays out.
I think that's the next big battleground. You're over at the U of A right now. I know I was there this morning, dropping my son off at the lineman camp you referenced. It is camp season over there. Tennis has something going on. So there's stuff basically in every open outdoor space. Plus the indoor was busy this morning. What are you seeing over there so far as they're welcoming a lot of kids around the state and around the region onto campus this week?
Well, one kid that got my attention as far as O-lineman. Was Fabian Allen from Pine Bluff, 6'5", 308. But the deal is, he's just going into the 9th grade. He's a good-looking kid.
Say that again. He's 6'5", 308?
308, and he's just going into the 9th grade. He's just coming out of the 8th grade, obviously. So when I saw him and Coach Johnson, the coach from Michael Johnson from Coach Williams at Pine Bluff, I was like, dang, who is this? He's got to be an upperclassman, some guy that I don't know about. Coach Williams is always really good about letting me know about some of his kids if he thinks that they're worthy of D1. And he hadn't obviously approached me on a kid just going into the 9th grade. But I was thinking that he was maybe a guy going into the 11th or 12th grade. But he and he carries his weight pretty good. I mean, not great, but pretty good. So I was like, I was like, dang. But and Arkansas was definitely taking a hard look at him, and I don't expect any kind of offer or anything like that today. But he's definitely going to be on their radar going forward, and that's the benefits of coming to these camps. Coaches may not know about you. And then when they see a natural offensive lineman, 6'5", 308, going into the 9th grade and moves pretty good, you're naturally just going to keep tabs and see his progression and see what happens.
I know when we pulled into the park. Now, my son's 5'8", about 200 pounds. And he was seeing some of these guys you're describing, these behemoths, these 6'3", 6'4", 6'5" guys that are pushing 300. He kind of looked at me, and he didn't say, Dad, I'm scared. But you could tell that, this was going to be an eye-opening experience for him today. So be looking probably for the smallest guy on the field out there.
Do you know what number he is?
I don't know what they gave him. I had to. I turned him loose, but. These are really ID camps for these kind of guys to get found and to get on the radar for the coaching staff and to kind of get them in their system.
It is, and the 7-on-7, which I'm outside on the practice fields right now. I'm watching, 7-on-7. There might be a kid that the coaches noticed today that they didn't know about, and that's the benefit of Arkansas having these 7-on-7 camps. You got to give Pat Doherty a lot of credit. Obviously, Coach Pittman, they really kind of got this thing going for us. Having 7-on-7 on campus obviously helps them with kids that maybe may not been to the University of Arkansas, and a lot of them may be obviously a lot younger. 28, 29, 27 classes. And they may develop in a year or two into something, and they've been to the campus and seen Arkansas, and that may kind of open up the door for them to be, a little bit more interested in Arkansas if they hadn't been on campus.
Richard, is there any bump from this baseball team? Is baseball big enough to have a bump for the other sports? Does it get enough attention with kids of that age to notice that the College World Series and Arkansas is there? Does it do anything at all? Does it move the needle?
Yeah, it does, especially for the for the parents that are, maybe casual college baseball fans, they're aware that Arkansas is in the College World Series, and they're obviously aware of David Van Horn and the program that he's built. But even if say some parents or kids are not aware of what's going on, when kids are on campus making an official visit or whatever, the coaches sure point that out, and then they point. And I'm just like I said, I'm on the practice fields. I look at that flag 51. You as a staff, you always point out success of the other programs too, and it kind of points out the commitment the University of Arkansas has to athletics, and that does go well. And I was talking to a parent today that wants a school that focuses on athletics, and it's important in the community. And one of the reasons they're interested in Arkansas is because of what they encountered a few months ago when they visited. It was that they saw the support from the state, the Fayetteville area, and then saw all the commitment as far as facilities and everything else involved for the athletic program. You go over just across the street to the Jerry Jones Academic Center. Now that wins over Mama, and obviously Dad. It wins over Mama, and Mom wants to see that stuff. And when you have a facility, Arkansas's academic facility is as good as anywhere in the country. I promise you. I know that just talking to people around the country, parents or people that have been around the country visiting schools and stuff like that resonates with kids and parents, especially kids that are serious about their education.
All right, we'll leave it there, RD. Appreciate it. Enjoy the rest of camps and see if you can pick out old Dylan Kraft here the rest of the day. Okay.
Oh, I see. I just he just pancaked the guy.
Yeah,
I think that's him.
Yeah, they call him Waffle House. So that's for sure. All right, Richard, enjoy the time on campus and a little early Happy Father's Day weekend.
All right, buddy. We'll see you.
BetOnline is the world's most trusted betting platform and your number one source for all your sports betting action. With baseball season in full swing, BetOnline has more ways to stay in on the action with the latest odds, news, scores, and even live in-game betting while the games are being played. We keep the dog days of summer rolling with the largest selection of odds on everything. With updated odds on the MLB, UFC, and boxing to tennis and NFL futures, BetOnline remains the best online source for all your sports wagering information. In between games, head over to the BetOnline Casino with all the top Vegas-style games, including poker and live casino. BetOnline, the game starts here.